Pat, after an outstanding racing career, see the Stars is let down into an outstanding looking stallion.
Yes, I mean, as you can see, he's a stronger horse now, obviously, than when he retired to stud. He's actually over 100 kilos heavier now. But he's still a very active horse, likes to do work still, so we still give him a bit of lunging before he goes out in his paddock every day, and always very active, takes a very keen interest in what's going on around him, and in that respect, he's very similar to what he was like when he was in training.
Had some brilliant mares in his first book, including the Japanese horse Vodka, who now has a colt at foot.
Yeah, indeed. She foaled in early May, had a fine big colt for a maiden mare, and he'll grow into a fine horse. He's big, but will make a fine colt, and she's back in foal to him again.
He's just finished covering his second book now. Tell us about some of the mares that he had to him this year.
Yeah, we've another excellent book of mares again. Really happy with the quality of the mares that he's been given. He's getting a great chance from breeders, and it'll take a few more years before we know how they're going to do. But we've seen the first crop on the ground now this year, and there's an awful lot to look forward to.
His racing career was nothing short of amazing, although he didn't win his first time out.
No, very often with John Ox's 2-year-olds, he will use their first run at the course as education. Always, if they're good enough, they'll win, but they will always improve an awful lot for the first run.
John, See the Stars was an amazing racehorse. What were your first impressions when he arrived at your yard?
But he was a beautiful horse. He's a perfect yearling. Really well made, big, strong, but beautifully proportioned. And my first reaction was, my God, why didn't they sell him, put him in the sales and get a few million for him? They're taking a big risk putting him in training when all sorts of things could go wrong. But thank goodness they made that decision.
Well, yeah, put him into work and he races a 2-year-old. When did you realise how good he was?
Well, from day one he looked smart. He had great ability and tremendous presence, beautiful action, perfect horse to look at, and perfect temperament. So from the first bit of fast work he did, he looked good. But of course, how good you wouldn't have any idea until you start to race a horse like that. And so many horses are promising but don't deliver on the track. You never know until you put the gun to their head and test them. And of course, he came through every test. He just got better and better every time he went out. He was, he never reached his limit. He always won comfortably, and it was just the whole thing was a bit of a dream, really.
When you brought him into work for his 3-year-old season, it was an amazing season for him, 6 Group 1s in 6 months. What went through your mind?
I just felt so privileged to have him, first of all, that we had a feeling that he could be, one of the real tops of recent years to begin with. We thought that. Of course, then when he won the Guineas nicely after an interrupted preparation, and then went on and won the Derby, and Mick Canaan whispered to me in the winners' enclosure, this is one of the greats. Well, then it became a responsibility. We knew we had something really special, and that we knew he had the constitution to take on all these races. Most horses you wouldn't attempt to win the 6 in 6 months. Most of them would need a little break along the way. But we knew this fellow had the physical and mental constitution to take in a sequence of races at the top level. So then it became a responsibility, of course, a huge responsibility to make sure that he won every race and that nothing went wrong, and that we got to the end without a hiccup. And I can tell you it was some relief when he went past the line in the arc.
As his trainer, were you feeling a lot of pressure as all those wins were gaining momentum and he kept going out and getting better and better?
Well, you do, I suppose, a bit. I wouldn't normally feel it, but with this horse there was pressure because, we knew he was one of the greats, and I was just anxious that nothing went wrong and that we didn't muck it up, and that nothing stupid happened to ruin everything. So I was anxious. I wouldn't normally anymore get too nervous or anxious before big races, but with this fellow I was very keen that his record would remain intact and that he could take his rightful place among the greats.
John Ox is quoted as saying he's the perfect racing machine, and at this point in thoroughbred breeding, after 300 years, has arrived.
Well, I think that tells you how highly John viewed him. But indeed, he had it all. He was an exceptional horse. He was one of these horses that won by a significant distance, but he didn't have to. He had a jockey Mickelin, who had absolute confidence in him, and I think he always knew that he had his opposition covered and that there was no need to win by 10 if you can win by 2 and save a bit for the next day.
He's a very lucky horse in the surrounds he's blessed with here in Gllltown. It's an amazing looking property.
It's a beautiful farm, any time of the year, winter or summer. It is a lovely place, and it's a fitting place for Cedar Source to stand at stud.
So now I guess we sit back and wait and look forward to his winners.
Well, that's it. It takes a bit of time to get from one stage of their career to the next one, but it's interesting watching the foals develop, and that will certainly be something to look forward to before they make the racetrack.
And with the quality of mares he's getting, is there every likelihood that we might be seeing another superstar in the making in the not too distant future?
Well, we hope so. But as we know, outstanding success on the racetrack does not automatically mean outstanding success at stud. He's been given a great chance, and breeders have certainly taken a view that he has all the credentials to make a very, very good stallion. And we just have to see what happens.